Carbon tax, ready, aim, fire. We're going to do that immediately within 30 days, and we've already got it ready to go. We just have to be elected to do so. Well, I actually put a plan forward last year, the year before, and this March in answer to their budget. And the plan is very simple. We've identified $27 billion worth of things that we spend money on, and another $26 billion of things, of people that we have. What we need to do is get our spending back in order. I've identified about 10% of things that we can stop buying immediately, $2.6 billion. And then we can, through attrition, 8% of the public service leaves every year. And through attrition, we can eliminate the positions of middle and senior managers when they leave, and have the healthcare system and the Alberta government allocate the resources and restructure based upon what normal corporations do and public services do when they run into a problem and an issue where they don't have enough money. And we need to do that together. Albertans need to work together to get back to balance, and I've put forward a very detailed plan how we can get back to balance within 3 years. And by the 4th year, we'll start paying off debt. We're going to be about $92 billion in debt, and we need to start paying that aggressively as soon as possible without suffering the consequences of bad management styles and stuff like that. So we can get to it within 3 years and get back to balance, and then start paying off our debt. And we need to do that aggressively before interest rates go up. Bill 10 is not a priority for me at all, but I will tell you this, that any bill that has to do with the safety of our children and what's in their best interest, we need to be flexible with, but at this stage it's not a priority. We have to get back to the issues that really matter to Albertans. That's why I put forward some very good policy. I want people to have an opportunity to vote for something, not just vote against something. That's why 3 months ago I started putting forward very detailed policy on the economy, on healthcare, on justice, on education, and making sure that the best interests of Albertans are laid out in those policies, because ultimately it's up to our members to decide. But I think it's very important to hear from normal everyday Albertans and what their priorities are, and that's not a priority. Divisive politics is something I'm going to try to avoid as much as possible. That doesn't mean we don't make those tough decisions when we have them, but truly we need to focus on bringing Albertans together, bringing Conservatives together, and uniting Albertans into the cause that we have in the future. It's very important, and we're going to do that. Healthcare, there's no question. It's the largest single item in our budget. It's about 42%, 44% of our current budget, which makes it a very, very serious issue. But not only that, it's the quality of life and where we rank compared to other countries. You know, when you compare Alberta to the OECD, for instance, the strongest economies in the world, we rank at the very bottom on outcomes and the very top on expense. So we have one of the most expensive healthcare systems in the world as far as a developed country, and one of the worst outcomes. I put forward a 50-point plan, a very comprehensive plan that's been endorsed by frontline doctors, nurses, and experts. One doctor came up to me in Red Deer about a month ago, and he said that he's read the entire plan. It's the most comprehensive healthcare policies that he's ever seen by any politician in Alberta in his 30 years as a doctor. Very impressed with it, very happy with it, and wants to support me and wants us to take on and tackle healthcare. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter whether you're in Calgary or Edmonton or Lethbridge or Fort McMurray or Medicine Hat or Grand Prairie, everybody's concerned about healthcare. When you need it for your children, you need it. When you need it for yourself, you need it, and we need to focus on it and get back to better results. The Auditor General's recommendations, we've adopted a lot of those in our 50-point plan. We've also adopted a lot of successful stories in both Saskatchewan and BC who have, frankly, a better healthcare system than we do, better outcomes, and it costs about 20% less in BC. We know we can do better. We just have to start. You know, there are quite a few, but I think that the one thing that sets me apart from my opponents or the other contenders in the race is my experience in business and being an Albertan for my entire life, and the Alberta experience, especially from Fort McMurray, 50 years. I think a lot of people recognize that a strong Fort McMurray means a strong Edmonton, means a strong Calgary, means a strong Alberta. And I'm hoping to have a very strong Alberta. And I've signed the front of a check, not just the back. I've owned and operated more than a dozen businesses here in Alberta, and successfully. And these businesses in the service sector, in the construction industry, a full suite of different types of businesses. And I think that gives me a leg up because, you know, I know how to create jobs, and I know how to make sure that other people can create jobs, because really it's about making sure that Albertans have jobs, a better quality of life, and a better economy, and we need to have the private sector create jobs. Government's not good at it, and I know how to remove those barriers. If you look at my plans, I've have a very aggressive plan on taxation to remove taxation down to 11% immediately, down to 10% within a year for larger businesses, for small businesses, cutting their tax rate in half, because Alberta small businesses are owned by Albertans, employ Albertans, and reinvest the money back in Alberta. We also have a plan to reduce regulation and regulatory issues right now in Alberta by a third within 4 years, and we've got a couple of other things. I've only got a minute and a half, as you know, but it's a very good plan.